Good afternoon and welcome to our Q&A. So we just thought we'd pop on here to do some Q&As really and go through some bits and bobs and say welcome and well done for signing up for Do3 Commit. You might regret it, not sure. Anyway, so I'm Dave Knight, and I'm just hesitating to see if anyone actually appears because no one's watching this at the moment. So maybe, hopefully, some people will watch the recording. Oh, there we go. There's somebody there. Hello, single viewer. So yeah, that's me, and this is.
I'm Corinne. Hello.
So Corinne is well. We're going to be looking after you between us, basically. So it's not just me that you're relying on because it probably wouldn't be great. But you've got Corinne, who's probably a bit more reliable,
and Sarah Jane, who's even more.
And Sarah Jane, who's even more reliable still. Yeah. So yeah, so welcome, and there's lots of you actually. There's around about 30 of you so far, but we're hoping people will be joining along the way. I am Sarah Jane. Oh, so our one watcher was Sarah Jane. Neil, hello Neil. Anybody else, if you're watching, then feel free to type something nice in the comments and say hello. Obviously, the idea of this, or ask a question. If you've got any questions, then just type them down below. Either where is this going to be? It's on YouTube or Facebook, and it'll come through our end, and we'll try and tidy those up while we're on. But yeah, so what I'm going to quickly run through now. I'm going to go through a load of detail on the training program today because if you've watched the videos, then you should have most of it explained to you. So that's the first thing that we're going to say to you is please watch the videos that we have spent hours producing, or mostly are on your first week within the training plan. If you have any trouble accessing the video, then let us know. If you're commenting, just do us a favour and actually put your name at the start of your comment as well, because it comes up on our screen, but it's not coming up with who you are. So just introduce yourself so we can see who you are, and then we'll know who we're talking to. Yeah, so watch the videos. It's really important that you watch those because you've been being asked some questions, and most of the questions will be answered if you watch the videos. So watch those before you start kind of firing loads of questions over, because most of the kind of the basic stuff is covered in those videos. But anything else, obviously fire it out. You got anything you want to say before we look at let's going to run through Training Peaks and just have a little chat about things?
No, go for it.
Okay. Right, so let's have a look at Training Peaks. Okay, thank you. Who's that? Sarah Jane. Is that Sarah Jane?
Yeah.
Sarah Jane allowed to ask questions?
She's on commit. She can ask questions.
All right. Okay. All right, so just bringing up, this is my plan. In fact, what I'll do actually is I'm going to not this one. I'm going to doubled. No, I've got two of those. I'm going to bring up one of you guys. Let's just pick one of you. Let's choose Lou Beasley and load up Lou Beasley, just to make sure that we're looking at the proper commit one. There we go. Look, Lou Beasley's done her sweets. Oh, she's moved it.
She's moved hers around.
She's moved it around already. All right, so that's one thing we can talk about actually is moving sessions. You can move them, but as came up in discussion yesterday, because you guys are on a normal Training Peaks account, you can't actually drag and drop the sessions. And as it happens, you can't actually, because I thought you could go in there and you could change the dates and it would hop to whatever date you changed it to. It turns out you can't do that either, but apparently you can copy and paste from one day to the next or something like that. So if you can move it, then great. But if you can't, then obviously they are fixed in place unless you join the premium Training Peaks, which is about, I don't know, it's about £10 a month or something like that. And I believe there are some quite hefty deals available if you go through British Cycling or British Triathlon, or if you sign up for 12 months, that kind of thing.
I think some people have just done Google searches for discount codes on Training Peaks
and
got,
do that.
Got 40% off. So
yeah,
do your research and you'll probably be able to get a deal.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really want you to have to pay any extra, so it's a bit disappointing that you might feel that you've got to fork out, but ultimately the plan is the plan, and say if you do want to start doing a lot of shifting around, that might be something for you to consider. You say something?
No, I was going to say, don't feel that you have to have the premium account. You really don't need it.
Yeah.
So I think you can change things from one day to the next, or the following day. So if you're not going to be moving anything more than that, then don't worry about it. And the way the plan's constructed is that the sessions are. We do think about the order that we put everything in during the week and what follows what, and when you have your recovery days and things. So ideally, you wouldn't juggle it around too much anyway. So, but that's entirely up to you.
Yeah. Also, just while we think about this, in terms of, we've had a couple of people saying actually quite a lot of training on there. Now, there is, and if you kind of dive straight in and you do everything exactly as it's described in the session plans, then you're obviously going to be doing really well, and you have to be reasonably fit to do that. You're all coming from different levels. So what I will say to you is, for example, the hill rep session today. So I did the hill rep session today myself. I'm going to be following the bulk of this program myself as well. So did the hill rep session. I'm not in great shape at the moment. So I walked and ran as part of the warm-up, and then did the hill reps. I did 15 minutes, and that's what I'd say to you, is try and complete the times. But if you need to walk more and take it easy and have a proper longer rest, then do that. You know, the main thing is that you build up that consistency and just train day to day. And as the weeks progress, then obviously your fitness will improve, and you'll start being able to do more of the sessions. So don't put too much pressure on yourself to do it exactly as it says. Just do the best you can. And that obviously goes for the swimming, biking and the running. But particularly the running, particularly the swimming, because some of the swim sets are quite long. So just do what you can in the time that you have. I'm probably going off a bit of a tangent here, but also when we're looking at swim sessions, they are quite detailed, and we've got terminology and there's drills and all that kind of stuff. For now, particularly if you're a newer swimmer, just try and follow the bits that haven't got drills in is probably the best thing to do. Keep it nice and simple in the first few weeks, and as the weeks progress, we'll start sending out loads of videos, so it'll clarify what some of the drills are, but just kind of try and get stuck in for now. Right, so this week then, so Lou's swapped some of this stuff around. So she's moved the sweet spot ride and done the sweet spot ride today, and moved the hill reps to tomorrow. And yeah, the hill reps, we do a lot of strength work, so there will be lots of hilly running, lots of hilly bikes, and we use paddles as well quite a bit, which we'll go through at some point as well, the different types of paddles and things. I keep on thinking of things as we go along here. In terms of kit, just while I think about it, swimming kit, if you haven't got it, don't worry about it. Just get it as soon as you can. Just do the best you can, and if you haven't got the kit, then clearly you can't do the drills that involve using the paddles and the fins and all that kind of stuff. But again, look at this, and that's why this block is called the lead-in block. Look at it as you getting used to things, getting all your kit together, getting into the flow. So again, don't put yourself under too much pressure with that. So sweet spot ride is tomorrow. Then what's Lou got? Bike hill reps on Wednesday. Have you got a different version?
Run. Yeah, this is the
okay, so this is the standard one.
So those
Whose is this? Are you looking at?
This is Kevin's.
Kevin. All right. So, why don't I bring Kevin's up so that we got it on the screen as well.
So I think most of you did or will be doing the hill reps, the run today, which is it's a bit of a baptism of fire, I thought, to give people on their first day. No. But as Dave says, you take it as, if you want to walk it, you walk it. But hills are really good for building leg strength. So that's what we've had today. Yeah. So hill reps, endurance swim session. What else have we got? Sweet spot ride tomorrow. So there's a video explaining about sweet spot in the FTP, functional threshold power video. So have a watch of that. Should explain a little bit about it. What I will show in a second actually is I'll try and demonstrate as best I can with my iPad. If you've got Training Peaks connected to
your Garmin account, which it must be for most of you, or what are the other ones, Wahoo and all that kind of stuff. Sunto, yeah. If you've got it connected up to those watches, and then you've also got those connected to, say, Zwift. If they're all connected up, what should happen is the workout should feed all the way through onto those different platforms and things. So let's just finish off going through this week, and then we'll have a look at that quickly. So endurance runs are nice and short at the moment. So, well, some of you may think it's quite long, but again, do the best you can. If you're used to running for over the 30 minutes, that's there. Then what I'm suggesting to you, if you're used to doing a little bit more than this, is you try and stick to it as best you can, because we want to see how your body reacts. It's better for us to wind things up than it is to go too high and then have to wind it back or get tired or get injured or that kind of thing. So just be really conservative with it in the early days. If you're super confident, then you maybe can add a little bit of time on, but all I'd say is keep the intensity really low, because some people can get caught out with the overall fatigue that gets caused by doing a training program like this. Hill reps, bike hill reps on Thursday, got a rest day on Friday, and on Saturday, what's this thing sitting in the way here? Just get it off the screen. Run intervals, threshold intervals on Saturday, and a long-ish ride on Sunday. There's also, of course, all the swims on top of that. And again, I'll touch on this, it's in the video, but I'll touch on this anyway. You will get all 6 swims that we do as a squad laid onto the account, okay? I only really expect you to do as many as you can, but 4 would be an absolute max. 3 would be the way I'd think you should pitch it initially. If you can't do 3, then at least try and do 2. All right, so 2, 3, or 4 if you've got all the time in the world and you're already, pretty swim fit already. So 3 is what to aim for, but 2 as a minimum, really. Because if you go much below that, then you start to not really make many improvements. That's the reality of it. You'll notice that, for example, today and tomorrow's swims are endurance. They're both the same. So obviously, take one of those out. Do one if you can. Take one out. And similarly, on Thursday and Friday, you have midweek speed and power, although that one's already gone, hasn't it? Midweek speed and power on Thursday and Friday. But on Thursday, you also have a CSS benchmarking swim. Now, I want you to try and do that at some point this week. If one of the other swims has to go, try and do that benchmarking swim, because that's what's going to set those benchmarks. You're going to know where you are. You're going to know how long it takes you to swim 400 meters. If it takes 15 minutes, it takes 15 minutes. And then in the weeks and months to come, you can carry on using those benchmarks to see how you've improved. All right, so that's why we get the benchmarks in this leading block, so that we can set all those opening lines in the sand, if you were, as to where you are right here and now. So try and get that first benchmark swim done.
Can I just say for that one, for some of you who swim with us regularly in the squad, you won't necessarily have that CSS test in, or you don't have to do it if you've tested with us recently. So you may still have a speed and power session in that day to do as an alternative, or if you're coming to squad, you'd be doing speed and power. So anybody who's new to us will have the CSS test in, and those who swim with us regularly will have the option of either the CSS test or the midweek speed and power.
Yeah. Okay. We'll go through the questions at the end. I can see there's lots of comments on there, so we'll rattle. I can't see that far. Can you see that?
I can read those.
Okay, good.
Just about.
So we've got questions in front of us on the screen here, so we'll go through those in a minute. But I think that's pretty much all we need to run through in terms of the training program for this week. Next week and the week after, the week after are very similar. The week after that is a kind of a dial back recovery week, but they do follow the similar kind of pattern. Certainly in this particular block. In fact, all the blocks, they follow a similar pattern so that people get used to knowing what they're doing on any given day. So that's why we try and keep it nice and simple. Right. Okay. So I think what we'll do. you want to say something?
No, I was just going to go to the questions. I was going to...
George, should we going to go through those now then, in case there's anything related to what we're doing?
Do you want to open Sarah Jane's on there? Because the first one's Sarah Jane's
This one
question. Here? Yeah, if you open Sarah Jane's plan on there.
Oh, okay.
We can,
Sarah Jane.
So Sarah Jane has asked about swims, and she's done her swim this morning. She came to squad to do this morning's swim. Did the full session, was flying through it, and as you can see on her plan now, her session is yellow, and she did everything that she was supposed to do, so you would expect it to go green. Depending on what watch you use, it may just record your moving time and not include the rest, or if you start and stop it on intervals, obviously it won't include your rest. So you'll do the full session, but you might actually only have, as Sarah Jane's got 44 minutes of moving time, and Training Peaks will take that as you haven't done the full hour. You can manually adjust that. So if you go into the session,
pull the mouse down here. Pull the mouse down here onto this screen.
You do it. Right, can you open that session for me? If you go into the session, if you just go into the, you see 2 columns for planned and completed. You can just change the completed column to an hour. If you want to have all your sessions green, and I know a lot of people do like to see green on their Training Peaks. It makes you feel good if everything's green.
Should we give Sarah Jane a green one or not?
Oh, she might want to change it back. We'll change yours, Sarah Jane.
I'll change it. There we
always change it back. So now she's got the green that she deserves. So that's how you do that.
Okay. So what else have we got on? A lot of general chat, asking how John's feeling. That's all right. I hope you're okay, John. Much better, thank you. Okay, there we go. There's the answer. Is there any opportunity? So this is what we see. We don't see your name unless you put your name in. There should be, I think usually there's a little link for you to click so that you can give us your name, but maybe not on this one for some reason. We'll have a look at that. Is there any opportunity to do one-to-one coaching session on the swim at Stratford? Not in the squad sessions, no, because squad sessions are so busy and dynamic. We can't do it in squad sessions. We are currently looking. We have major problems getting pool time. So if you know anyone who has a swimming pool, we'll be very interested. But we are currently looking at trying to find some lane space, because we do one-to-ones. Absolutely, we do one-to-ones. We do video analysis, and we do a lot of one-to-ones, in fact. But because of circumstances, one of our regular pools is not available at the moment. So we're also running a course on one of the other sessions that we use. So we're very short on one-to-one swim time. So just bear with us. As soon as we have some more availability on one-to-ones, we will let you know. Absolutely will. What's that? I should pop that on there. I can read that. It's bigger now.
This is Chris Ashford.
Shall I read it?
You can read it.
Okay, all right. I wasn't sure who was going to go then. We're professionals at this. Hill reps, any views as to steepness? Oh, that didn't last long, did it? Any views as to steepness of the hill we should be looking for? 20 seconds on a short, steep hill versus 20 seconds on a longer, flatter hill. At this stage, don't worry about it too much. I wouldn't make it too steep at this stage because it is a lead-in session. Obviously, enough of a hill for you to feel like it's a hill. And we did the hill session today, didn't we? And it was fairly, I would say it was 3%, 4%?
It must have been harder than that, surely.
No. Seriously, I think
no, it wasn't. It wasn't a very steep hill.
No, it was. So not too steep. Later into the programming, you will get told which hills to use. So some steep hills and some shallow hills. So, but this one, don't worry about it too much. Just make sure it's not too steep, otherwise it's going to put too much strain through your legs and things.
Shall I do the next one?
Yep.
So next one, Ian, does Zwift use erg mode to control the bikes or treadmills? If you don't know what Zwift or erg mode is, don't panic. You don't need to know necessarily for this. But if you do happen to use Zwift, it has, and you have a smart trainer that can be controlled by the computer, you can use erg mode for most of the sessions if you're doing them on Zwift. I would say probably not on the ones where the intervals are really short. So the real sort of, what have we got at the moment? We've got sweet spot, that should be fine. and hill reps should be fine as well. You can use erg mode if you'd like to. Some smart trainers are a bit slow at changing the resistance, in which case you might just prefer to use your gears to change the effort level. If you find when you've got it on erg mode that it's just getting harder and harder and you can't actually turn the pedals at all, that's known as the Zwift spiral of death. You just need to, because if, do you want to explain what is it? You probably put it better than me.
Yeah. So if you drop the cadence down too low, effectively what you're trying to do is what happens is you end up spreading the load. So you have to say it's asking you to do 200 watts, and you're doing 200 watts at, I don't know, 100 RPM, say, 100 revolutions. So 200 watts. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were looking at me like I've got the wrong end of the stick then. And then if you drop that to 50 RPM, then suddenly you're having to spread that 200 watts over half as many pedal strokes. If you drop to 25 RPM, you're trying to spread those 200 watts over, a quarter of the amount of pedal strokes. So what happens is it starts to become, if you let the cadence drop too low, it starts to become incredibly hard. And because it's hard, your cadence gets even lower, and then it gets even harder, and you end up just going off the edge of a cliff, don't you? And you come to a grinding halt. The best thing to do if you do that is to stop. Zwift will disconnect the erg, and then you'll pedal back up to speed, and then it'll reconnect the erg again. So that's the best way to kind of deal with that. I've been there a few times.
I just prefer not to use the erg mode on
mine. Yeah. You done with that?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. What else have we got? Will you be looking at comments? Will you be looking at comments and training peaks from us? Just wondering, if there is value in us putting the comments in for coaches, or just be talking to myself. No, we won't be looking at those. On this particular plan, we can't, because you're getting into the realms of one-to-one coaching there. That's one of the main differences between commit and one-to-one coaches. They pay considerably more per month because it's much more labour intensive, because we do go through all those comments and we do give feedback on all the comments, and there's much more interaction. So commit is designed for you to get as much as you can out of the kind of the programming, obviously, and keep it as cheaply as possible. So no, we can't look at those, unfortunately. Best thing to do is, if you've got some questions that you want to ask, we're not going to look at it, so just store those up, and if we do one of these, we'll do one of these, or you can put it onto Training Peaks Facebook group or WhatsApp, then ask them on there, and if we can't answer it, one of your peers will no doubt answer it, because there's lots of knowledge in the group as well. So hopefully that answers that question. Treadmills can't be controlled by Zwift. Too many people flying off the back of them. Yeah, no. So there's no ergo mode for Zwift as such. What's this one?
On the treadmill.
On the treadmill. Yellow equals disaster. Always make Training Peaks green for mental health purposes. Who wrote that?
John.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. So try and keep it all green. Aim for full completion if you can, in terms of the time. What Training Peaks doesn't measure on the kind of traffic light system is effort level. So if it's an hour's run and you walk for an hour, it will turn green.
Giving them all the cheat tricks.
Well, I'm trying to be nice to the newbies. Would you look at Southern Pool for swim sessions? For one-to-ones and things, yeah. Not for the squad sessions, because we've already got our hands full with the squads that we're running at the moment. But certainly for one-to-ones, we could look at, yeah. Can you recap how to make it green? No, you've missed it. That was a one-off. Okay. I don't quite know if you're serious, but I'll show you anyway. So if we go into Sarah Jane's again here, it'll come up here, and if I change this, I'm not sure if it works backwards actually. If we change this to, what's going on here? If we change this to, I'm not doing this very well, 30 minutes. Let's see what happens with that. There we go. Amber. You only done half the session, it goes amber. So if we go back into here, you click on, see it's got planned, it compares it to the planned time. So if you want to change that to the same, just change it to 1 hour, goes green, save. All right, but you only do that if you've actually completed the session. Goes without saying. doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry about the distance in there. It's notice on that one. It was a 3,200 metres swim. That's a lot of swimming in an hour. Not many people will get through that. Hour. So please don't feel like you're really slow if you don't do 3,200 metres. I think very rarely in a squad session do even the fast lane get through 3,200 metres in a session. So don't worry. Get through what you can get through.
What's that, Pat? You can also change the planned to match what you've done, can't you? No, that's absolutely right. You can do it the other way around. So if you've done 45 minutes, you can change the planned to 45 minutes. But that kind of means that you're shortening it. That's not the idea. Swimming's a bit different because swimming, as Corinne's explained earlier, swimming, the information comes in slightly skewed and only gives you swimming time. Anyway, better hurry up, haven't we? Because we're always being shouted at for making these things too long and waffling on.
I think we're about done.
Okay, with what?
I think we're about done.
I'm not done yet.
Are you?
No, I was going to show them quickly. Right, I'm just going to drop you. I know what's going to happen here, Corinne. Oh, it's me that's blanked out. I thought it was going to be you that's blanked out. And the iPad's gone off as well for some reason. Oh, this might be a disaster. No, it's all right. I can shout from behind the screen. The iPad's gone off anyway.
Those of you who don't know us will not experience the professional videography of Do3 before.
iPad. Oh. Oh no, it's getting worse. This is why people watch these things, because of the comedy value of this. Corinne, what have you done? What have you done? Camlink. Is it going to come up? Oh dear. Oh dear. What am I doing?
We're still on.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay. Well, that was a complete disaster. I think what I'll do is, rather than completely do this live and screw it up again, I'll do a separate session on connecting up your connecting up your Garmin and your Training Peaks and Zwift. So just to summarise what I said earlier, if you've got Training Peaks connected to Garmin, if you go into your Garmin, in fact I can probably show you on here manually and do it old school. I like using the wizardry, but it's obviously not working for me now. So if you go into the Garmin app, is that going to focus on that? There we go. You can see I've got hill reps on there. All right, that's automatically fed through from Training Peaks. And if it's on there and you've got this communicating with your Garmin watch, it will also be on your watch. So you can actually go to the what's it called? The training menu.
Yeah. So if you've got, excuse my beetroot fingers. So if you go into, is it going to focus?
Yeah,
there you go. Onto run, and then if you go to menu, I can't do it back to front. And then somewhere on there, you'll have training, select training, and go to training calendar.
Doing well, doing that backwards.
Yeah. And there, so I've already done it's on the wrong day now. It will be the right, mine's slightly different, but you will have hill reps on there for today. So, and then you just go into it and it'll ask you whether you want to do it on a bike or indoor bike. But
just notice your fingers.
I've been eating beetroot for lunch.
And similarly, it will find its way through to Zwift. If you're a Zwift user and you've got bike sessions on there, if you go into the workouts menu in Zwift and there is actually a folder with Training Peaks, click on that and the workout will be in there too. And that will feed through. I don't think it'll do it on this because these are on feel, aren't they? But when it's actually power or heart rate specific, it will come through and it will actually start to erg mode. It will be available for you and that kind of thing if you want it to be. Hopefully that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. It will tell you what RPE to do. It won't control anything, but it will tell you what. It'll come up on the screen either of Zwift or on your Garmin of what you need to do.
Yeah. Was there anything else?
No.
Okay. All right. So
questions. Isn't it?
Just get stuck in, guys. Just get stuck in. The main thing is, don't worry if you think it's too much for you. Just do the best you can. Some of the sessions are marked as key sessions, so try and do those as a minimum. Aim for completion of the session. Don't worry about the speed of anything at the moment. It's week 1, block 1. Don't worry about it. This training and improving people isn't rocket science. It comes down to consistency. If you train consistently, even if you kind of you don't quite do the sessions as they're structured, as they're planned, it's the training day after day, week after week, which will give you those improvements. All right, so don't worry too much. People get absolutely kind of wound up about getting it absolutely bang on. Try and do the best you can, and join the Strava, what's it called, Strava group that we've created, and you'll see what people are doing. Some people will be doing an hour a week, some people will be doing 10 hours a week. Just do the best you can. All right. Any more questions before we go?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay. No, that's it. All right, so there's quite a few watching. If you're watching this recorded, then hello. Yeah. It's, what date is it? 1st of November. If you're watching this in 2023, then you're a bit late. A bit late to the party. Anyway, anything else to say?
No.
No? All right. Well, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
All right. Take care.
See you soon.
Bye.